What kind of life do you want to live? What kind of reality do you want to have? One where you are fit, healthy, confident, capable of turning your dreams into reality? Or one where you are sick, hungry, separated, disconnected, and feel as though you are forever and always just one step behind? Probably the former, right? Although, surely, greatness in character is often derived from tremendous challenge. But that doesn't mean that you forever and always need to be in a state of oppression so as to, it's like, when are you going to graduate school? When are you going to become the person that you're meant to be? Often is the case, we feel like I've worked so hard and driven with the intention in this one particular direction for so long, I should have some results by now, but you don't. Why is that? And how do we change it? This is a way to, one, identify one of the core issues that most men are suffering from and a way to resolve it. And that is, we're trying to do too much alone. We're trying to become successful by ourselves. That's not possible. Maybe in some general and slight way, sure, but we don't want that. We want to have a deeply social, interactive life. And often is the case, we don't have that at all. Sometimes there are guys that might have a great amount of people with whom they can have a very surface form of communication with, but there's no depth of connection. Nobody really knows them, or if I'm speaking to you, then knows you. And if nobody knows you, then who are you? What value do you have? Where are you? I've, at one point in my life, been surrounded by acquaintances, but nobody really knew who I was. And it was like that scene in a movie where the guy's standing still and everything is going super fast around him. Like, nobody knows me. If nobody knows you, how do they care about you? They don't. And even if we don't conscientiously make that connection right away, we feel it. It's subconscious. We know it. It's cellular. We feel like there's just a space between these people, a space between myself and the experience I'm having, a space between, even if you work a job and get a little bit of success, but nobody knows you, then who's really celebrating with you? What's the point of that success? Nobody wants to be alone. Nobody wants to be an island. So, not to say that you don't want to necessarily be on an island on occasion with close friends, but being on an island by yourself can be, for most people, especially for an extended period of time, straight misery. And that's what I'm getting at here, is that most men I know are miserable in some general sense because they lack that depth of connection that we all truly want and need so as to actualize our dreams into reality. Our dreams often, even if they're not exactly the same as other guys around us, but our dreams are somewhat immovable, like a really heavy couch. You could try to maneuver that thing into your living room by yourself, maybe deconstruct and reconstruct. But with another friend there, you can move it. With three or four, it's a game, it's fun, it's easy, right? You guys are laughing the whole time. Super simple analogy for how, even if that's not your house and your couch, but it is a place that you and all your friends can then sit and have a conversation that creates those depths of connection that you might want to have in your life. Same is when you offer support to someone else's dream, someone else's vision and goal, right? It doesn't have to be your goal. It doesn't have to be your house or your couch. But when you help somebody else and you create those bonds, then they help you. They want to help you. Ultimately, what men truly want and need to be successful in life is a group of guy friends with whom all support each other, with whom they're capable of investing a tremendous amount of emotional energy into, and subsequently get from them in the same way they get that support. So you give and you receive the support that you need to move things through life that are really fucking hard, whether it's emotional or financial or whatever it is. A group of guy friends that are super close, that know each other, and care about each other and want to see each other be the best versions of themselves possible, that's truly what we all need to be successful. So, how do we get there? If you know nobody, you must be the kind of friend that you want to have in your life. You're going to have to be the kind of father and friend and brother and co creator that you've always wanted. So imagine what that is for yourself. How do I want guys to show up in my life? What kind of friend have I always wished I had? And then I want you to start becoming that person. Now, it does take a little bit of work on ourselves to work through some of the heavy shit that can come up sometimes in those environments where you're being vulnerable with men for maybe the first time in your life. And vulnerability, again, is not some pussy shit that is meant to be avoided. In fact, it's the opposite. The more vulnerable, the more able you are to expose the weakness within you in a safe environment with guys that want to see each other be the best versions of themselves possible. And therefore, if you're vulnerable, you guys can come together and see each other through that into a stronger, more confident, more capable state, right? And that's what I'm really stoked to see in the world. Because ultimately, if we lack confidence within ourselves, if we are of low self esteem, then we have a weak constitution. And often, when presented by what seems to be a dominant idea or a dominant person presenting an idea, even if it doesn't necessarily seem or sound right to us, it might be something that we take on or allow to exist. If there's something out, let's say, happening in our immediate lives, or maybe just things we see online, or somebody getting into a fight across the parking lot, or something's happening in your community you hear about you don't like, but there's somebody dominant with a dominant idea. If we are weak within ourselves, weak constitution, we have low self-esteem, we're not confident, we don't have a good group of friends, we don't have a good sense of importance and value, very often we don't stand up for the things that we know are right. And ultimately, that's what a man's supposed to do, is stand up for the things that you know are right. You're meant to be strong. You're meant to be confident. You're meant to be dominant in the right ways. You dominate the things that aren't right when you know core truth that shit's not right, but you let it happen anyways. Well, there's nothing I can do. There's look how strong they are. Look how confident. Look how dominant. Might not actually be something that you say to yourself, but it might be something that you feel. And it doesn't have to be that way. And it also doesn't need to be the other side of the spectrum where you see a bully and you go, I want to be the bully so that nobody bullies me. No, that's not what I'm talking about. And the pendulum just swinging back and forth. Let's catch that shit, pull it off of its hinges, and build something different. The only way we can do that is by collective collaboration, where we are fully supported into being the best versions of ourselves possible. And I really want to see that happen. So this is just step one. And step one is necessary. We must become strong and confident once again as men. We can do that by way of becoming physically fit in our bodies. I'm saying, look, physically fit. You have to be fit and healthy. If you're constantly sick, you're constantly worried about what's going to happen in life, but financially sick or physically sick or emotionally sick, then you're not 100%. All that energy is going out elsewhere, right? So you have to be physically fit. You have to have confidence, and the confidence is usually derived from a whole host of things, but core, as an individual, is mastery. If you've mastered something, whoo, nobody can take that away. You are a master. If you've mastered your body, or mastered mechanics, or mastered electrical engineering, or mastered whatever it is, singing, art, doesn't matter. It can be math, it could be people, but if you've mastered something, that not only gives you a tremendous sense of confidence individually, but think about the collective gains when you bring together a bunch of masters. And I've said this before, I'm going to reiterate it, that masters usually want other masters around. If you're really good at something, You almost exclusively have space for other people that are really good at something in your life, people that are passionate and dedicated. Mastery also teaches us how to be diligent and focused with our time management. Because to develop mastery, we must make space for that thing and do it every day. If not every day, then very, very often. But it has to be a consistent, continual part of our everyday life. Even if we're not doing it, we're probably thinking of it some way, somehow, applying it to our life in some way. And then it also applies to that co-creation of that solid friend group, which can bring us into the highest state of our optimal, our highest state of well-being, both physically, mentally, and ultimately spiritually, collectively. So you need to be fit. You need to have a sense of confidence. And as we enter into this new era, you need to be vulnerable and open to connecting with other men. This is so important, so key. It's vital. And if we don't do it, we're going to peril. The human species will end. We must regain this power that we have given away through the era of ease and access, of ordering on Instacart, playing video games, getting a new girlfriend on Tinder. No, you gotta go hard at it. If you don't know how to talk to women, then that's a skill you should learn. And if you're not good at it, that's okay. You can be the shy guy in the friend group. There's going to be a shy girl or maybe a not so shy girl that really likes that energy, that finds a perfect harmony there. Again, that group kind of helps open up another group. Maybe a group of guys helps open up a group of girls. Maybe there's that one gregarious, super fun, super smart guy or super funny guy that opens up the conversation. But then there's the more introverted side of the friend group, the guy that's not so good at talking to girls, doesn't have a whole lot of experience. But wow, when you're alone with the girl that's really into you, that's also maybe a little bit nerdy, I'm a bit nerdy. And so when I'm alone, one on one, I shine. Sometimes in big group dynamics, I can tell stories and stuff. Sure, I've learned how to do that, and I know you can too. But if you are in a current state of being shy, you don't like talking to big groups, and don't like opening up conversation with 7 super cute girls, I get it. It can be overwhelming. But there's somebody in a friend group that you can create, that you can be a part of, that will open up that group. And there's one of those girls that's also not the front face Instagram model, super sexy, trying to get all the attention girl. And you're going to have an awesome conversation and maybe have a connection, a relationship. And look at that. That's partly because you had that solid friend group, right? Everybody's knowing, loving, caring, vulnerably connecting, and therefore supporting each other to be the best versions of yourself possible. And I really want to see that because we need that. We fucking need that. I travel the world, 65 countries, and I see it cross-culturally. The world is crumbling. It's falling apart. We have got narcissistic, ego-driven, megalomaniacal people that are playing the game of war. All they see when they're playing the game of war is war. That's it. They can't see anything else. Have you ever played a video game where it is war, or any video game where stuff's flying at you all the time from every direction? If you don't move every fucking second, if you're not right there, somebody talks to you, boom, you died. For all of the aforementioned people that are running the world's governments, who are playing the game of war, whether it's the military industrial complex, the pharmaceutical or chemical industrial complex, they're playing a game of war. It's like chess. It's very complex. It's a complex version of that. And we will forever be the pawns. The pawns will die, and eventually the whole thing will crumble unless we decide to do something about it. We can only do something about it and make the changes that we all need to have happen in the world before this turns into the plastic planet where there's no trees left, no air to breathe, and we really just fucked ourselves bad. Or somebody who's playing the game of war, who doesn't see anything outside of this, goes, I guess we got to press this red button, and then nukes everybody. No. Let's just say no. And the only way collectively we can do that and make the world that we actually want is if we have that sense of power, confidence, and capability of actually doing something. And it starts with, well, the individual who can create a friend group. That friend group can create a community, and a community that reinforces value system can make the changes that we all want to see in the world. So if you're with me, I want to hear about it in the comments. I want you guys to start some dialogue. Hey, maybe you got some new friends to meet in the comment section or on Reddit or Discord or whatever it is that can get you guys together. But I want you to get together in person. If you go to the gym, if you go to the office, in between the office and the gym and home and wherever it is that you get your coffee or you get your lunch or whatever, you go to the grocery store, be a bit more open to men in a real way and make real connections, because we need to hold each other accountable and also hold each other to a higher standard and also enable each other, want to see the men in your community be better and better and better. It's not competition where that guy's rich means you're not going to get there. No, if you have friends that get rich, that drives you to get rich. You have friends that get healthy and fit. All of a sudden, Tom's got big shoulders and abs now. He used to be fat in high school. Yeah, but look at him now. That's motivation. And if you're in a friend group, this vulnerable, love-filled friend group, where you want to see each other thrive, then Tom's going to be stoked when you start working out and going to the gym with him, right? And that's what I want to see. So let me hear about it in the comments, and I'll talk to you guys next video.